Hey guys, welcome to Code Decode. You all might be wondering who I am, so let me introduce you to myself. I am Vipin, one of the team member of this channel, and we have started this channel a few years back. And trust me, we have never expected this awesome response that we have got over a couple of years. So thanks a lot for that. Also, we are going to start a new podcast series where we are interviewing some of the folks who are working in their dream tech giants. In this podcast, we will be discussing about their journey, preparation path, and study plans. At the end of this podcast, you will be able to get a consolidated document with all the required resources for your reference. So, please welcome with me our first guest Vishal Aggarwal. Hey Vishal, thanks a lot for joining us. Let me give a brief introduction about Vishal. Starting from Tier 2 college, joining TCS as his first company, he worked hard and smart to pave a path to land his dream job. Starting from 3.3 LPA to 40 plus in just a 4 year is not a child's play. Today we are lucky enough to hear from him about his beautiful journey and how he actually managed to achieve so much in such a small period of time. So Vishal, could you please tell us something about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So thanks, Code for having me on your first podcast. And if I talk about my IT background first, so currently I'm having around 4 years of experience, and I started with TCS. So I was in TCS. I was working as a Java developer, and I worked there for 3 years. Then I joined Factset. It was a short journey in Factset for around 10 months. Then I finally joined Intuit as a software engineer too, or as a SD2. And there I'm working as a Java backend developer. So this was my short journey of 4 years.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Vishal. And like my first question is like, what was that trigger point that made you to switch from a service-based company to a product-based company?
Uh, the trigger point for me could be first, of course, the compensation because if you are working in a service-based company, so first thing that came to mind is compensation. The compensation is low in the service-based companies. So that was one of the trigger point, and I was trying to actually do something better in service based too because in TCS I tried for the digital profile as well. So that increased my compensation, but that also was not that enough. And I also want to experience that product-based companies and how they are working, how they are scaling the things, how they are solving the problems of their customers. So these things we kind of lack in service-based companies. So that was the experience I want to gain.
Yeah, so like I would say, yeah, you were lucky enough that you got a Java project in service-based company too. Uh, you have worked on Java project in both service and product-based company. What difference did you observe in the working culture, coding style, the tools they have used, and the sprint they have in their companies?
Yeah, so first, if I talk about the work culture, so work culture in product-based companies, you will get bugs. At every moment, you will get bugs. So that keeps you motivated at like every time you'll get motivated to work better. And the second thing is the like it depends on team to team. I can tell about myself. So I face a little bit of micromanagement in the service-based company. So that's not there for me in the product-based companies, both in the FactSet and the Intuit. So that's difference I felt. And mm, in terms of the coding part, so in the product based companies they do have the coding standards. They follow, actually they kind of practice the thing that if you're writing the code and it should be as per the coding standards of the company, so it should be scalable enough. So every time, yeah, you're coding, so you have to think about the scalability thing. If you have to add a new feature to it, so how that would scale. So these things you have to keep in mind while writing a code here. Of course, the design patterns and the best coded practices you have to follow. So that's an additional thing. But yeah, the scalability is the main thing.
So, being in a service-based company, it's always difficult to crack a product-based company. So, how did you manage to crack product-based company, and what are the resources you have used?
So according to me, if you want to crack a product-based company, so first thing you have to like ready for that. Like you have to, uh, what you can say, you have that vision of getting into the product-based company. If you're not having that vision, so you'll not land it. So you'll not land there. So that's the first thing. You should have that confidence. You should have that vision to get in the product-based company. That's the first thing. The second thing is the consistency, of course. And yeah, with the consistency, you should have good resources. And for the resources, for the DS, I've used this like Geeks for Geeks and Lead Code. So Geeks for Geeks practice portal I've used a lot, and the Lead Code as well. And when I was there in the Factset, so I also bought a course of coding blogs just to get my consistency, because it's very difficult to actually continue your learning pace with your work you're doing. So for that, I've enrolled to a coding blogs course, and it was a 4 month course, a live course. So that gave me a kickstart. And yeah, so after that, I used to do lead code and this Geeks for Geeks practice portal. And for the high level design and the low level design, I've used median blogs. I've used a certain popular YouTube channels I followed. So these are the resources I've used.
Yeah, like so being in a service-based company and like doing all this stuff, like doing lead code, doing gigs for gigs is very difficult. I mean, hats off to you. So, like, how did you get a call from a Factset? Is it from Naukri, from LinkedIn, or did you manage to make any contacts for the same?
Yeah, it's from the LinkedIn. It's from the LinkedIn. I approached to a person and he gave me that referral. So for the fact that you will not face that much of difficulty getting a referral.
Okay. And like, how many rounds of interview will be there? Like, if someone is planning to like a shift to from a TCS service-based company to a Factset mid-level product-based company, like, so how many rounds of
Hmm.
interview will he or she will get going to face?
So in FactChat, I had 3 rounds of interview. So if you want to crack FactChat, so first we have this DS round, the second round is the Java round, and the third round is the managerial round. So the DS round, so according to me, the level of DS was medium level. So if you're comfortable in the lead code medium level, so that would be good enough because the written is not that difficult. And yeah, it's if you're at medium level, so it's easy to crack.
Okay, and like I think you have spent around 1 year in Factset. So what's the reason behind the quick leave from Factset? Like, what made you to switch from Factset?
Okay, when I was working in FactChat, so my goals were not aligned with the work I was doing. So that was the main thing because I want to work on the backend side more. And in the fact chat, I was working on a thick language application. So I was not getting the exposure of cloud and messaging queues that I wanted.
Okay, totally get it. Like, it's very frustrating. Like, if you want to work on something and you are not getting it,
Yeah.
so that's the
Mm.
very fair reason to get a quick leave from a particular company. So, my next question is like, how have you prepared for companies like FAANG level? Like, because I can see like you have switched to Intuit, but I hope you have given more companies like Intuit and like even or the FAANG companies.
Mm. So when I start giving the interview, so you can start. Of course, you have that thing in your mind that you are not prepared. So first thing, you start off with means small product-based companies. So I did the same. So I started giving the interviews. I so when I started giving the interviews, I was prepared with my DS. So my DS was prepared. My Java was all right. So it was good. So I was able to crack the DS rounds. So I was struggling in the system design rounds at first. So by the time it took around 3 months of preparation, so I start off with I started off slow and then I started getting the pace. So I started giving in all the big product-based companies uh, like Uber, Amazon, Atlassian, Walmart, and the here and Intuit. So I I cracked Walmart. I cracked Atlassian, but the Atlassian, my last round was not that good. So they were giving me the L3 position. So I want that L4 position in Atlassian. So I settled with Walmart. Then at the last week, I got a chance to interview with the Intuit. So I cracked the Intuit interview and got SD2 there. So that's my whole journey. So it took around 3 months of preparation.
Man, these are the big names. So, like, I'm very curious to know, like, how did you manage to get calls from this company? Like, did you make connection on LinkedIn, or have you approached to like some of the other mediums? Because it's very difficult to get calls from this company. I know you are working on the mid-level product-based company, but until and unless you are not from IITs or NITs, it's very difficult to get a call from this company. So, how did you manage that?
Yeah. So after COVID, it's a good thing that your college and whatever degree you are having doesn't matter that much if you have the skills. So I've used LinkedIn extensively because LinkedIn is often underestimated, but according to me, LinkedIn is the best source from where you can get the calls, from where you can get the interviews scheduled, and so I did interview for around 5, 6 big companies, and all are through LinkedIn. And I approached HRs, I approached employees of the companies. So what I did was I also opted for the LinkedIn Premium. But if you're opting for the LinkedIn Premium, so you should have that connections. So you should play smart. So you should have good connections. You should have good LinkedIn network. And if you have the good LinkedIn network, you can connect to the employees of the companies you want to get in. So that thing I followed. So I followed HRs. I sent the connection request to the HRs and the talent acquisitions. So I directly approached them. If they're posting some jobs, so I'm directly approaching them. So that was the thing I did.
Okay. What's the professional way to sending someone a particular mail or to have a connect with them?
Yeah, sure. I had a format that I used to send, and it's not common for all the things. Suppose if you are sending to an employee, that would be different. If you're sending to HR, that would be different. And it depends on the position. It depends on the company. So it depends. The format changes a little bit to whom you are sending. There are two things. So you can approach to the employers, or you can approach to the HRs. If you're approaching the HR, so you should give a brief about yourself. You should give a brief about the position you want to have the interview, and yeah, that's it. Means you have to provide the proper resume link. So sending the resume directly would not help. So my suggestion is to have a link of your resume, so you can attach that, and you should have that job IDs handy, so you can paste that in your funny format.
Okay, that's great. So, in a nutshell, if I can summarize, like all you have to do is you have to make LinkedIn connection as much as you can, so that it will increase your boundaries, increase the number of companies, so that you can interview while you are in the notice period. So, my next question is like, uh, as you were already know some of the data structure algorithm, apart from data structure algorithm, system design will come into picture. So, what are the resources that you have used for the system design?
Yeah, for the system design, for the LLD part, I followed some of the GitHub links, so that were great according to me. Now, at least people are more proactive. They are more content creators, like educational content creators that are making the content. So at my time, I was following some GitHub links that were great. They were having different solutions. They were having different questions, and I used to practice them for the LLD part. For the HLD part, I've tried some resources. I've tried some courses also from Educative, so that helped me a lot. I followed some of the common YouTube channels that are popular, like Gaurav Sen, and yeah, there are a lot more actually. So there's Udit Aggarwal. So he's very good for if you're preparing for the LLD. And I've also opted for the Gaurav Sen course, that interview.io, I guess. So he also having the Medium page for that, and he's posting the solutions in the Medium page. So you can also follow that. And according to me, Medium is the best way if you want, if you don't want to enroll in any course, and if you don't want to spend that much, so you can just follow the certain uh, creators, and you will get recommendations once you started following the content. So you will get recommendations. You will get actually new content every day. So in the suggestions for the Medium is very good. So Medium is a good tool to learn.
Okay. So like as you have prepared for system design, so like how interviewer will ask, like what are the type of questions you are going to face in the system design round. So first let's clear this. So if I'm going to face a particular company, let's say Uber or let's say Walmart, so how many rounds of interview will be there? The first round will be the coding round, or HR will get going to connect you and then they will get to know like about the technologies and stuff, like how they approach to us.
So first, yeah, of course, HR will connect with you. He or she wants to know about your background, if you're okay with the position, and yeah, they will ask you about the compensation and so, and then actually they will proceed with the further rounds. And it depends actually. The first round of Uber is actually the machine coding round, that is the LLD round, and for the companies like Amazon, so we usually have this DS round, and for Walmart also there's first the DS round. So it depends on company to company. For some companies like Intuit and Atlassian, the format is a bit different, because they don't ask you this lead code kind of pattern in the DS round. It actually involves LLD plus DS. So you will get two rounds for LLD plus DS. So first round would be properly based on LLD, and the second round would be the LLD plus DS. So now companies are moving to different patterns. People are okay with lead code. Okay, one can cram with the lead code solutions as well. But the companies are following different patterns. So according to me, LLD is a must. LLD and HLD is a must. So companies are trying to integrate the LLD and the DS round and suppose the high level design. So in Intuit, what you have is we kind of have to make an assignment in 2 or 3 days. So it should be a complete working model. We have to create the LLD. We have to make the LLD HLD presentation, and there will be follow up questions. So there will be 1 hour or 2 hour around the first round. So some companies do combine LLD HLD, and some companies do different rounds for specific DSA, LLD, and HLD, like Amazon does.
Okay. And like if we are talking about the DS, so like how deep they can go? Like they are going to ask dynamic programming also, or they are going to ask just DS and like some HLD LLD questions. So like how important dynamic programming is if you are going to appear for these companies.
So I guess the most difficult round for all such companies is the return round. In Microsoft, in Amazon, the return round, the first question will be of hard level. So you can say the lead code hard level. So you must be prepared for that for the first round, the return round. And the follow-up rounds would be of medium to hard level. Yeah, of course, the dynamic. At least you should know the basics of dynamic programming and in graphs and trees. You cannot skip any of the topic, because at least you should know basic questions. If you should be at medium level at least for all the topics. For the DP, in Walmart, they ask two questions of DP. So yeah, it's of medium level. It's not hard level. So hard questions you can expect in the written round. But for the follow-up round, you can expect the at least the medium level of difficulty.
Okay. And like if I would ask something like if someone is going to prepare data structure and dynamic programming from scratch, so what would be the roadmap according to you? As you have appeared for so many companies and you have cracked so many rounds of DS. So according to you, what are the ideal roadmap for someone who is going to start DS and dynamic programming from scratch?
Uh, so there are actually a lot of roadmaps you can follow, but you should not go blindly. First, if you want to go up to the DP level or the tree level, so you should not start blindly. You can so for the DP, for the trees, for the graphs, the recursion is the basics. So if you're not comfortable in recursion, so at least you should be comfortable in recursion enough to go for DP, trees, and graphs. If you're going for graphs, so that you can say again an extension of the trees. So you must be confident in trees, and yeah, so recursion is the basis for such topics, all the three topics. And uh, you can go directly with recursion, but my suggestion would be just go step by step. You should first have an understanding of arrays and string questions, at least the two pointer approach and different approaches how we are solving the strings and the arrays questions. And you're comfortable with if you know recursion, you should be comfortable in backtracking also. So there are a few steps that you need to follow. You can not directly try to solve a graph question and say I'm not able to solve it. So you're not able to solve it. You have to go step by step. So there are different roadmaps. There are different actually set of questions that you can follow. There are different sheets. You can find thousands of sheets online. So my suggestion is to go step by step. And once you're comfortable in arrays, once you're comfortable in strings, then go for linked list. If you're comfortable in linked list, then you go for queues. If you're comfortable in queues, then yeah, in LinkedIn, in linked list and in queues also, there are some topics revolving around recursion. So side by side, you can start doing some things parallelly. So if you are solving one question with for loop, so you try to solve with the same question with recursion. So if you are making habit of this, try to solve the question with these for loops with the traditional way and with the recursion. So that would be good for you. You will get much more exposure in recursion, and at last you should be comfortable in recursion for solving all such topics. Yeah.
Okay. So like if I'll calculate, like you will get at least 2 to 3 months for only for DS and dynamic programming if you are preparing from scratch. As you were already from like you were in TCS, like you were already from Java background. So I hope you have some knowledge of DS. But if you are preparing
Mm.
from scratch, so at least you have to spare around 2 to 3 months to prepare from scratch DS and dynamic programming.
Yeah, I can give you a brief about it. So, if you are trying to apply for the interviews, so the first thing is if you are going for the service-based companies, so at least you should be prepared. Uh, you should have understanding of Java, right? So you should prepare for the Java interview question. So there are a lot of resources like Code Decode. I've also followed Code Decode for the Java related preparation. So yeah, you can follow such resources. And if you're going for the mid level product based company, you should be better prepared for the Java rounds, because you cannot say I'm prepared with the DS but I'm not comfortable in Java, because they can ask Java in every round in any company. They can ask you Java, so you should be better prepared for the technology you want to work. So of course you have to work on the technology, you have to work on the DS, and for mid level company, like medium, lead code medium would be enough. So if you're not feeling comfortable in graphs, if you're not feeling comfortable in trees, so you can go for the medium product based company. But
Okay.
yeah, if you are preparing, yeah, but if you are preparing for the FAANG based company, and you should feel comfortable in DS at least, because the LLD and HLD takes time. It's not 1 month thing or 2 month thing. You have to practice a lot, and because these are the crux of the enterprise level product, and the things how scalability works. So these takes years and years. So you cannot learn this in 1 or 2 months. So at least if you are preparing for such FAANG based companies, and you should ask this question: Am I comfortable in DS enough? So if you are comfortable in DS, if you're comfortable at least in DP entries, I would say, because you can practice graph side by side, but yeah, all these companies will ask you graph questions. So it's not the thing, uh, like graph questions will not asked. So they will ask you graph questions because these are kind of prerequisite.
Okay,
So yeah.
that's like you have shared so much knowledge to us. So, as you are in Intuit, what are your future plans?
Yeah, so currently I'm SD too. So like in few years, I will be promoted to senior software engineer. So my my aim is to get as much exposure as I can in the system design. I want to work with the things that I've learned. There are some things that you will learn in system design, but you if you don't know how to implement that, so that's a problem. So why you're studying the things? So if you don't able to apply the things what you have learned, so that make no sense. So my aim is to implement all those things that I've studied, and yeah, I'm been a part of all these LLD and HLD related things. So LLD, that would be a like main day-to-day activity, because you have to apply all those coding standards and design patterns and good coding practices, what you say. So those things you have to apply on the daily basis. For the HLD part, you have to be involved in such projects. So I'm I'm trying to engage myself in all such activities. So I'm a part of HLD project right now. So my main aim is to just get whatever I've learned.
Okay, and now the most important things like how much package one can expect if like someone is standing at 4 years or 6 years of experience, and if someone is like jumping from a service based company to a product based company, or like a company's FAANG level. So how much package one can expect, and like how can one negotiate it? Because someone is working at 10 LPA or 12 LPA, so it's very difficult to ask for 40 LPA. Like there will be a hesitation. So how much one can
Hmm.
expect, and how can you negotiate that?
Okay. So it depends actually. First, it depends on your previous compensation, and the second thing, how much offer you have in your bag. So you have to search before negotiating for a position. So you must know the lower bracket and the higher bracket for that particular position in order to negotiate actually. So uh, if you want to negotiate above that than the higher bracket, so that would not be feasible, I guess, because there will be less probability to get it. So you have to research for that particular position, according to me, and it depends on your previous compensation and how much offers you have.
Okay, so like I am done with all my questions. Such a great podcast, Vishal, and it's commendable that you have shared your knowledge, and I'm sure it will help the community to land their jobs. So at this note, we end this podcast here, and if you want more such podcasts, please let us know in the comment section. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So till then, bye bye.